One massive mistake people who are trying to consume more protein make is looking at the total number of grams of protein in said food versus comparing it to how many grams of protein are you getting per 100 calories or what percentage of that food is protein. Now, the reason why I think this is a massive mistake is most Google searches when people are, let's say they're trying to lose weight or let's say they're trying to gain weight, but either way, they're trying to increase their protein intake. They'll go on Google and look up foods that are high in protein. And you'll get a bunch of different results, depending on specifically what you type in. But generally, it will be high calorie foods that have a lot of protein in them, which you might think, okay, that's what I'm trying to do. Not really, because at the end of the day, pretty much every food has some protein in it, even trace amounts of protein, 1 gram of protein per serving. But if you go in your local grocery store, pick up anything, it's going to have 1 or 2 grams, most likely. Some foods might have 0, but the majority of the food you pick up, probably 70-75% of it, is going to have some protein in it. Now, if you need 150 grams of protein to build muscle or to maintain your muscle or to do whatever, you could get that in through really anything. You could get in through vegetables, and I'll use vegetables as an example. You could eat 150 grams of protein from vegetables. The issue is the amount of volume of food you would have to eat. You'd be very bloated, and you would probably get sick from trying to eat that volume of food. I mean, you'd probably have to eat like 100 pounds. I mean, it'd be absurd, the amount of vegetables you'd have to eat. But a more serious issue is from a caloric standpoint. Not really the bloating and not really the volume of food, but the caloric standpoint. And I've got a pretty good example. So if you were to Google protein, you'll see eggs, you'll see peanut butter somewhere near the top. And I think both of those are fine foods. I think both those can be staples in a healthy diet. But from just a pure, protein standpoint, you'll see that peanut butter has 7 grams of protein per serving, and eggs have 6. So you'd look at it and you say, oh, peanut butter tastes a little bit better to me, and it's got a little bit more protein. Not really, because one egg has 70 calories, and a serving of peanut butter has 200 calories. So when adjusted for calories, eggs are going to have a little bit over double the amount of protein. If we're consuming 200 calories of each, which if you're dieting, your calories are really all that matters. When you're dieting, 200 calories versus 200 calories of eggs has significantly more protein than 200 calories of peanut butter. Or, yeah, that is what I'm trying to say here. So what you need to do is probably the easiest way to figure this out would be to, type in the calories by source. And with peanut butter, it's 75% fat, 14% protein, 11% carb. Now, with egg, it is 62% fat, 36% protein, 2% carb. So we can see that egg are a little bit over a third protein, and peanut butter is not even a fifth protein. So we can see that egg are a significantly better source of protein. Now, does that mean it's necessarily a healthier food? No. And it gets a little murky when you say something's healthier than another thing, because it depends on what for. Are you trying to gain weight, or are you trying to put on, just gain a lot of strength? Peanut butter might be better for you. If you're trying to maximize the protein you can get per calorie, egg will probably be better for you. It's not as simple as whatever has a high percentage of protein is better. But I'm just kind of pointing this out. Another example I'll give is a lot of people will say steak is a great source of protein. And it could be. I mean, it's expensive, so that needs to be factored in. But 614 calories of steak is going to get you 58 grams of protein, and that's not bad by any means. I mean, that is not a shabby ratio. But kind of what I'm getting at here is foods like, let's say, a whey protein shake. They're going to have, I'm trying to pull up steak's percentage. Steak. Sirloin steak. Yeah, so about 50-50, depending on which source you use. And, it obviously depends on what fat percentage the meat is at. But it looks like it's about 50-50, which is obviously better than the egg or the peanut butter. But when you compare it to something like whey protein, most people would tell you, they just say steak or lean meats are going to be better than whey protein. Most whey proteins are 75%. I mean, if a whey protein is 50% protein and it'd be 50% carb, that's a bad whey protein shake. Most whey protein shakes are about 75-80% protein. So it's like when we're comparing them, we can get the same amount of protein from a protein shake and we won't have to consume as many calories. And with the steak, it would be from fat. There isn't really any carbs in steak. So at the end of the day, depending on what your goals are, I would at least be cognizant of what comes with the protein you're eating. Is it a lot of calories? How many grams of protein can we get per 100 calories? One thing I would keep in note is a gram of protein is 4 calories. So if it's per 100 calories, the most amount of grams of protein you could have is 25. That would be a only protein food. You know, if you're gonna have a 100 calorie snack and 10 grams of protein are inside of it, that would mean 40% of the calories come from protein. I would probably say 30 plus percent, anywhere in that range of 30 plus percent is gonna be pretty solid. You know, if you can sprinkle in some higher things like lean meats as well as protein shakes with some 25 to 35% snacks, I think that's definitely the way to go.